Shyness has ruined almost 23 years of my life, and it has given many painful moments and regrets throughout my career. I ended up spending most of my career alone with little friends and little choices. I was afraid to make new connections and to expose myself to the world. There are many times in my life I felt awkward talking to people, making eye contact, and even giving a gentle smile while crossing others at work. I haven't made this how to stop being shy and awkward forever video as a so-called expert or by reading the articles out there around the internet. Trust me, I spoke up from the experience here. I spent many years of my life by looking at people around me enjoying their social life. I knew the pain of being a typical shy person who is living up his whole life inside his head than living up in the actual world. For most of my life, I was incredibly shy and had minimal self-esteem. I didn't have many friends in my school, college, and even at work. I was not popular and I have been criticized by many people and made fun of regularly for being shy and awkward. 4 years ago, I met with a small event that truly changed my entire life from a typical shy person to a confident. Let me share with you that event and the way I succeed the shyness in my life. I believe this will change your life too. I usually commute to my office by train. That day, I arrived at the train station earlier, so I had to wait for around 30 minutes to get the train. While I was waiting for the train, I met an aged woman with a little girl. By appearance, I could predict that they were a blood relation. She had many wrinkles, age spots, and creases in her skin, so I guess she could be the grandma of that little girl. They both seemed to be so weak and poor. At young age, the girl was found to be extremely malnourished and their dresses were found to be dirt and had many drop stitches. The girl asked her grandma to get some biscuits by showing the shop that existed a few feet away. The grandma refused and she remained silent by holding her hands tight. Over time, the girl started crying out louder. Since I'm sitting nearer to them, so I can listen to their conversation. Now the grandma approached the small shop to get some biscuits for that little girl. After a few minutes of conversation with the boy standing at the shop, she returned with empty hands. By watching these events, I could predict that the aged woman couldn't afford the biscuits sold at the shop. The little girl expected biscuits a lot and she was extremely hungry. Returning of her grandma with empty hands made the girl really sad, and she started crying even louder than before. The aged grandma was so uncomfortable and she had no answer to the girl. She tried to calm down the little girl by holding her hands tight, and she promised to get something to eat upon reaching the destination. That girl was suffering from extreme hunger, like I have never suffered in my life. My heart dropped and they both suffered gently on the station. I wanted to give a few packets of biscuits to the little girl and some cash to her grandma. I wanted deeply to talk to her grandma to know her destination and the support she really needed, but I couldn't. My shyness prevented me from talking to the stranger. I was unable to approach and speak to the people I didn't know. I had so many questions and thoughts in my mind. If you walked up to them, what would you say? Can you solve their problems by giving these few packets of biscuits? What if you predicted the scene entirely wrong? What if she rejected the money and biscuits? What if she yelled at you in front of anyone for thinking they couldn't afford food? While I was answering these many questions raised in my mind, the train has came. They got into the unreserved compartment. The train started moving, so I got into my usual reserved ladies compartment. This event shocked me so hard and I felt ashamed of being useless even when it's possible to help someone. If I had given the biscuits to the girl, the story could have been different. She could have traveled happily without hunger. Who knows? Even that aged grandma might be hungrier than the little girl, but she could have managed by her experience. That day, so many thoughts blew into my head, and I couldn't sleep well for the whole night. I was just thinking about all the losses, rejections, and failures I faced because of this shyness. I preferred hiding in my own world rather than reaching out to other people, and I kept my interaction with other people very limited. Since from my school days, I have been a shy person, so I lost many things in my life due to social anxiety. I faked illness when there was a presentation due in my school. Even on my adulthood stage, when I stepped out from my college, I rejected the companies having group discussion and panel interviews. I don't know why, because I was a smart, nice, and okay looking girl. But whenever there is a need for social interaction, I conditioned myself to believe that there was something wrong with me, and the people seemed superior to me. This hungrier little girl went made up upset, and the first time I realized that my shyness not only impacted my own life, it makes me useless to others. I don't want to live the rest of my life as a coward who was incapable of helping others even when it's truly possible. As like everyone that night, I checked out everything out there on the internet. How to be overcome shyness and awkwardness forever. How to overcome shyness naturally. How to be confident around other people. How to be charismatic and confident person. How to control the social anxiety. How to talk to the strangers easily. With so many questions that I had. If there are 100 articles and videos out there about overcoming shyness, I could have read almost all of them at that night. Even after watching all these so-called expert shyness overcoming tips, I couldn't feel any changes in my mindset. But the desire to come out from the shyness was extreme within myself than ever before. I was traced back into my own life. I found 3 major mistakes that made me a shy and awkward person in my 23 years of my life. The first mistake is, in my childhood, I gave up easily and I believed whatever the world threw at me. I gave more importance to the thoughts, opinions, and criticism of others than to my own life. When people said I am a shy person, I believed it completely. I never tried to defend that opinion. I considered those poor criticisms expressed for the sake of time pass as golden words. When my school friends said I was not good at singing and my voice was terrible, I believed it completely and I skipped the chances for singing throughout my life. The second mistake is, I repeated to myself constantly as I am a shy person and not good at human interactions. I said this to myself as a mantra without knowing that I am hurting my own life. The third mistake I have ever done to me is I always had a reason for holding me back. Now I had only 2 choices left in my life. Either I should accept the change for a better life, or I should continue my life as a shy and awkward person. No, I don't want to be a coward and useless person no more. I knew I couldn't change myself in a single day. So from that day, I pushed myself to express my opinions in my office meetings. There are many failures at the beginning, but I accepted myself. I began to transform little by little. After 7 months, I delivered a project presentation to my team members in my company, which is one of the breakthrough events in my whole life. Now I can make friends easily around the world without feeling shy and awkward. I'm living my ever-dreamed life with ultra-confidence. If you want to transform from shy person to super confident person, here are my top 8 secrets from personal experience. Make a decision, commit yourself for change. Never look for overnight change, it won't happen. Speak to yourself positively, your mind is a powerful thing. Begin with small things like smiling at people, maintaining eye contact, etc. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. If someone throws negative comments, just skip and move on. Having a better self-image will increase your chances of success. So work to improve your self-image by reading self-help books and articles, etc. Understand shyness transformation is connected with your lifestyle. So do things you love and celebrate every success that comes in your way. Trust the process and never give up. Great things take time. You only have one life. So try to make the best of it. If you like this video, hit like, share and do subscribe for more videos.